Great to pander to people. Oh, you're a populist. You're a left-wing populist simping for the polls, not the donors. Well, how noble of you. Being a left-wing populist just means you're pandering to the entitled middle class who lives in their own middle-class semi-elite bubble. You're telling them they're the victims of everything, because that's what everyone wants to hear. And then the actual victims, the third class, those who are actually struggling, unlike us, what do they get? Well, the anti-homeless infrastructure that we currently have. You know, the spikes and all, to keep them from sleeping in nice places, under bridges, stuff like that. Yeah, that infrastructure. It costs us more than it would if they just housed them. How do you think the homeless would feel about such things? Do homeless people even get to have a say in that? They're citizens too. I mean, they were born on the same side of the border. They have that God-given right. They should get to have a say in that. But they don't make up the bulk of the voting base. The entitled middle class does, and the entitled middle class doesn't care. Do you think they're simps do? Do you think their Sims care about them, even as individuals? Any of them? Chances are they think they do, because again, hard to find someone who's not speaking in good faith, dignity is something ordinary people are born and stay with. But the self-righteousness of getting to say you're cheerleading the crowd is a bit too perfect, don't you think? With economic populists, you're sure to find yourself wherever the crowd takes you, except the way we go through with it is something we're all paying for, under the taxpayer system. Currency is a baseline for everything, and when the slogan sharing is caring becomes official legislation we have to abide by, your currency can crumble into the hands of whoever the crowd wants it to. If the crowd doesn't like how much property you own, it's theirs. They can take it. Have you ever bothered to look at the polls? I personally don't. I've Secular Talk do it for me. But if you look at the polls, you might notice that socialist policies are actually way more popular than a lot of us would like to admit they are. Not the rhetoric, but the policies, the substantial part. What do we really have to worry about? What are your thoughts on having workers seize the means of production? Yeah, communism. You might be surprised. Almost the majority of people are in favor of such policies. Don't get the rhetoric and the policies mixed up. When someone comes out as a socialist, communist, whatever, these words barely even have a precise meaning. But that person is done. They'll be slandered as a Soviet crusader. It's over. But if you look at the polls, this is where we're headed towards. And those who think Biden is a communist, you don't know where we're headed for. Joe Biden is a right-winger who was brought up against Trump instead of Bernie because Republicans and Democrats would vote for a moderate Republican over Trump. That's what Biden is. He respects property rights. He hasn't raised a minimum wage. He said he would, but thankfully he didn't go through with it. Point is that as much as a government should work in accordance with its people, it should not have the ability to take property rights away from its people, even if that's what most people want. Most people are greedy. Who wouldn't be greedy when those who are being greedy at the detriment of are either the higher class, so no sympathy for them of course, or the lower class, those that basically don't exist and aren't there and aren't hungry while you walk out of McDonald's with your stomach full, because you're the victim. What would that make them? And these left-wing populists are cheerleading this type of behavior. Yeah, very noble cause indeed.